You see, in the last lecture, I told you that all the cortical steroids, rather all the steroid formed in the body are derived from the cholesterol. Now, you see, in adrenal cortical hormones, similarly, you see as well, you see the hormones are formed from the cholesterol. And this cholesterol once goes to these steroid forming cells, they are converted into pregnenolone by the enzyme cholesterol desmolase. So this I told you in the last lecture. Now, as you see, this cholesterol, all the steroid hormone has got cholesterol, and this cholesterol has got a nucleus that is called the cyclopentanoperhydrophenanthrin nucleus. So, cyclopentanoperhydrophenanthrin nucleus is the this is the nucleus which is called cyclopentanoperhydrophenanthrin molecule. So this cyclopentanoperhydrophenanthrin nucleus is the is the nucleus present in the all steroid hormones. Now you see, only many different in these different type of the cells, many different type of the hormones are derived, and only small molecular weight difference leads to quite different types of the hormone. Produce abnormal. Of course, hormones are produced in these cells due to only one molecular difference in their molecular configurations. So in this way, you see the actually when this cholesterol enters into the cell, you see the two organelles are responsible for the formation of the different steroid hormone, that is the mitochondria and endoplasmic reticulum in these cells. So now, as I told you that if the hormone is what you call it, cortisol, you see at 3 carbon atom, 1 oxygen is attached, and one oxygen is attached at 3 carbon, number 3 carbon. And in this cortisol also it is hydroxylated at the hydroxylated at carbon number 11 and 21. Similarly, in case of aldosterone, the oxygen, this oxygen molecule is attached at oxygen at the, is attached with the 3 carbon number, and also you see the hydroxylation of the hydroxylation at carbon number 18. So now similarly, adrenal, as far as the adrenal androgen is concerned, so in these again, one oxygen is attached with the carbon 3, and and also it is hydroxylated at carbon number 17. So this is the small molecular difference leads to different types of the hormone. Like in case of adrenal cortices, there are, the hormone ultimately releases the cortisol, aldosterone, and androgens, and this is the, the difference between the different molecules, these different type, these different type of the adrenal hormones. Now, you see the different types of hormone release, like mineralocorticoids, the mineralocorticoid. You see, now in mineralocorticoids, there are 90% of, activity is, 1% of, activity is due to aldosterone. So now, as far as the mineralocorticoid activity is concerned, 90% of it is due to the presence of the aldosterone. While there are other mineralocorticoids also, they're like deoxycorticosteroid, deoxycorticosteroid, and also there are cortisol, and also there are cortisone. So now these are the different mineralocorticoids. See, can be released from these adrenal cortical gland. And also at the same time, see the this is as for mineralocorticoid and glucocorticoid. You see, in glucocorticoids there are 90 to 95%. 90 to 95% activity is due to presence of cortisol. So now, as glucocorticoids are released from adrenal cortex, especially from the zona fasciculata. Now this mineralocorticoid is produced by the zona glandullosa, and this glucocorticoid is released mineralocorticoid from the zona glandullosa, and glucocorticoid released from the zona fasciculata. Not only this 90-25% is due to presence of the cortisol, but there are other corticosterone. There are cortisone, and also there are some synthetic glucocorticoid as well, like prednisolone. So now this prednisone and methylprednisolone, so now methylprednisolone, and also there are dexamethasone. So now you see, as far as synthetic dexamethasone is concerned, you see it is 30 times more potent. 30 times more potent than cortisol. Then cortisol means that, but zero activity as far as the mineralocorticoid activity is concerned. So now what I need to tell you in this simple that dexamethasone is a synthetic steroid hormone, and it is 30 times more in action than the cortisol, but has got zero activity as far as the mineralocorticoid activity is concerned. So means that this dexamethasone provides a very important drug as far as the life of the person is concerned. Even you see in the present situation, like in this COVID-19 pandemic, you see this dexamethasone is recommended for, in case of the very severe critical patients. So that you see this is important. Now, as I told you that some Some of the drugs, they have got also glucocorticoid activity and as well as the glucocorticoid activity. In detail I'll tell you later on. So now this is, you see, the as far as the, you see, the once the hormones are formed, cortisol, aldosterone, adrenal, androgens, they come to general circulation. In the general circulation, they are bound to different plasma proteins, especially the the plasma proteins, like you see the cortisol binding globulin, with the globulin see once the these glucocorticoids and melanocorticoids releases from the adrenal cortices, they come to general circulation. In the general circulation, in case of cortisol, you see cortisol, 90 to 95% is bound to plasma protein. So means that once these cortisol, they come and enter into the general circulation, they are bound to plasma protein, and then plasma proteins, cortisol binding globulin. This is the globulin. So now this cortisol, once they enter into the the general circulation, they come and combine with the globulin. Not only with the globulin, but also with the albumin and pre-albumin as well. So now this cortisol, this is also called transcortin. So this globulin is binding, the cortisol binding with the plasma protein is also called the transcortin. So now they are 91. Now once they are bound to plasma, these cortisol bound to plasma, their half-life also increases. Their half-life, come from the 60 to 90 minutes. Half-life of cortisol is 60 to 90 minutes. As if as far as the aldosterone is concerned, aldosterone, you see, this is about 60%. 60% is bound to plasma protein, and remaining 40% is free in the blood. So now in plasma. Now means that the aldosterone is mostly they are in both form, bound form as well as in the free form in the plasma in the blood. Now their half-life is half-life of aldosterone is only 20 minutes. It means that because most of them are bound with them, but 40% of them are free in the present in the blood. So their half-life is also only 20. As far as their half-life is only 10 minutes. Now you see the once they are these cortisol and aldosterone, they come in general circulation, they bound to two things happens. One is that it will act as a two things are there. First thing is that they as a reservoir, they will act as a reservoir. So now why as a reservoir? Because once these hormones come into general circulation, if they are in free form, then at once they are excreted through the kidney and as well as so the half-life becomes very less. Now as they are bound to plasma protein, their half-life is low. And second thing, one is that they will act as a reservoir, and second thing that the equal distribution is ensured. Equal distribution. So now equal distribution of these hormones are ensured. Because these once they are plasma proteins are bound with these hormones, equally they will ensure the distribution of these hormones equally to the all tissues of the body. So that's why, see, this is ensured, okay. Number one is that it will, once it is bound to the plasma protein, it is as a reservoir for the longer period of time remains there. And second is that equal distribution is ensured in this case. Okay, by okay, all the tissue will get equally the these hormones from the plasma or from the blood. Now, you see, we know that once they come, in the genus, these hormones once come and perform its duty there, then what happens that these hormones also go to the liver. In the liver, they are detoxifying of these hormones will take place. Kya hoga? Means that they will convert into inactive form, that is, they will conjugate in the liver with the glucuronic acid. They are conjugate with glucuronic acid as well as with the sulfates. So now so these ones, they come in general circulation, these hormones, they come in the liver. In the liver, they are conjugated with the glucuronic acid as well as with the sulfate. So once they are conjugates, they again come back to general circulation. Not only this, but from the liver, most of them go to the excreted in the bile, and then the bile enters into the gastrointestinal, and through feces it is eliminated from the body. Second thing is that their kidney will also, the remaining portion, about 25% of them in the bile. They will excrete it through the bile, but 25%. Now, you see, the remaining portion, that is about 75% of these conjugated, corticoids, they will, is excreted in the urine. By the, they are filtered by the urine, through the kidney, and then it is excreted through the urine from the body. Means that 75% of these conjugate hormones, they are filtered by the kidney in the glomerulus, and then it is excreted through the urine, with the urine. So in this way, 25% of these hormones, the glucose hormones, through the kidney. Through the kidney, it is excreted. So now this is the way that how they are eliminated from the body. 25% in the bile and 25% they are excreted in the by the kidney through the urine. Now that once these hormones, that is the glucocorticoids and glucocorticoids, they are present in the in the blood. See, they are the concentration of the cortisol. You see, the cortisol is so aldosterone. You see, 12 nanogram per 100 ml of the blood. They are the presence of the aldosterone in the blood is 12 micro. It is what you call the 6 nanogram. 6 nanogram. So this 6 nanogram is the what you call it, the concentration of the aldosterone. Aldosterone is क्या है, only 6 nanogram. While in 24 hours it is about 150 microgram, or per day के हिसाब total secretion per day, or you can say 0.15 milligram per day के हिसाब से secretion is there. So now, as far as the presence of these, this is aldosterone. The cortisol, I told you that, the aldosterone is 6 nanogram per 100 ml. The concentration in the blood is there. But once they are in the 24 hours, it is about 120 microgram or 0.15 milligram per day के हिसाब से total excretion. As far as the cortisol is concerned, cortisol, you see, it is about 12 microgram per 100 ml of the blood. Means that the concentration of the cortisol in the blood is 12 microgram per liter, and in 24 hours, it is about 15 to 20 milligram or 15 to 20 milligram per day के हिसाब से secretion is there. So this is how it is. The adrenal cortical hormones. If there is a total loss of adrenal cortical hormones, the person can die within 3 days to 2 weeks. Of course, if we do not treat that patient immediately. And the treatment is simple, that we should give them the salts and also the mineralocorticoids especially. So in this way, you see, that is vital that if there is a loss of adrenal cortical hormone, we have to treat immediately these persons. Now, as far as the mineralocorticoid is concerned, mineralocorticoid, you see, when a lot of loss of mineralocorticoids, the sodium loss is there and the potassium is conserved there in the what do you call it, in the body, extracellular spaces. So in this way, you see, this is globulus, this is proximal tubule, this is distal tubule, and this is loop Fellner, and this is Bowman's capsule, and this is collecting tubules and ducts. Collecting tubules, and this is the afferent arteriole, this is efferent arteriole, efferent arterioles, and this is afferent arterioles. So, arterioles. So this is and this is the glomerulus there. Glomerulus in the Bowman's capsule. So now you see, if the aldosterone, if there is total loss of aldosterone, the aldosterone will act over these collecting tubules, proximal tubules, and collecting ducts, and the collecting ducts and distal collecting tubules. So they will act there, and they cause absorption of the water from there. Sodium plus H2O is absorbed. Sodium and H2O is absorbed. And in this, the potassium is secreted inside the. So in this way, क्या है कि in the presence of in the absence of, first we should take that if there is total loss of aldosterone, the sodium does not absorb. Sodium will remain there. This absorption does not take place, remain there. So absorption of the sodium water does not take place. While in response to this, the potassium will then reabsorb from that and increase the potassium level in the extracellular spaces. So in this way, once it does not, then a lot of sodium and H2O will go in the urine. Because the absence of, in the loss, total loss of aldosterone. So, in total loss of aldosterone, you see sodium water will not absorb, and then you see the sodium and water will not absorb, there in these cases. So with the result क्या है, potassium will secrete, while in the urine a lot of sodium and water will be loss of sodium and water is there, and the venous return, in this case from the kidney, the venous return decreases. So means that once the venous return from the kidney decreases, the cardiac output also decreases. With the result, blood pressure will also go down. So if there is absence of the total loss of aldosterone, sodium potassium will not reabsorb, exported secrete, and then you see a lot of sodium and water loss in the urine. In the urine, lot of sodium and potassium is there, and then with the result क्या होगा, from the kidney the venous return will go down, and then cardiac output will decrease, blood pressure will go down. So in this afferent arteriole, the blood pressure goes down. So means that a shock-like condition develops there, when hypovolemic shock develops, and the person ultimately can die. So this is the reason that how we have to, if there is a total loss of the aldosterone, we have to supplement that person with the sufficient quantity of the salt as well as with we should give them the aldosterone mineralocorticoids. Similarly, importance has got with the glucocorticoids, because in all these physical and mental stress conditions, glucocorticoid is needed. Without glucocorticoid, again the life of that person is threatened. So both aldosterone and glucocorticoids and melanocorticoid is essential as far as the life of the person is concerned. Now you know that aldosterone, as far as aldosterone is concerned, aldosterone is 90% of aldosterone. So mineralocorticoid activity, activity is concerned. So activate 90% of the mineralocorticoid activity is carried out by the aldosterone. So now this aldosterone, and you see, remember that cortisol, as far as aldosterone is concerned, this is aldosterone, and also you see cortisol has got also, you see this cortisol has got also the mineralocorticoid activity is there, and you see the cortisol, you see they can act also as a mineralocorticoid. Now this, remember that the mineralocorticoid activity of the aldosterone is 3000 times more than the cortisol. So more than 3000 times more in activity than cortisol. Why? Cortisol has got 2000 times more in concentration in plasma or in blood. So means that the secretion of the cortisol is 2000 times more than the aldosterone. Why? Aldosterone has got the mineralocorticoid activity 3000 times more than the cortisol. So this is this is very important. Now remember that in the in these as far as the cortisol is concerned, the cortisol as a neurocorticoid. So these are the cells of the suppose if I draw diagram like this, you see the so this is suppose one of the tubules there. The tubules there, you see the filtrate runs here in this in this tubule. So now cortisol, you see, as I told you that neurocorticoid has got neurocorticoid activity 90%, but cortisol has got as quite sufficient activity as strong activity rather of cortisol is also as far as the neurocorticoid activity is concerned. Now the thing is that in the neurocorticoid, you see, so in this cell, there is the enzyme called 11 beta hydroxysteroid dehydrogenase type 2. So this enzyme is present in these tubules. So now the thing is that once the cortisol comes, as I told you that these lipid bilayer of these cells, you see, these cortisol can easily enter into these cells easily. So now we know that there are neurocorticoid receptors are there. Neurocorticoid receptors are present in the cytoplasm of these cells, and these once these hormones come, they can both the aldosterone as well as cortisol use the same receptors inside these cells. The purpose of this this hormone, that is the 11 beta hydroxysteroid dehydrogenase type 2 enzyme, is that once the cortisol enters there combined with there, you see these cortisol is converted into cortisone, So this cortisol is converted into cortisone. You see, but you see, this cortisone has got minimum neurocorticoid activity, and it can be very minutely. You see, it can combine with these receptors. Otherwise, the cortisol has got a high affinity to combine with these neurocorticoid receptors inside these cells. So the purpose of this, once the cortisol is converted to cortisol, no neurocorticoid activity is produced. So with the result, these cortisol has not been. Now you see the quantity of the cortisol inside these cells will increase. And as I told you that these cortisol has got also neurocorticoid activity. So a lot of neurocorticoid, that these corticosteroids, actually they are congenital diseases, in which this 11 beta hydroxy dehydrogenase type 2 enzymes are absent in some disease condition. These congenital disease condition, these 11 beta hydroxydehyrogenase type 2 enzymes are absent. So means that cortisol will not convert anymore. Cortisol converted into cortisone, and the cortisol level inside the level will go down, and it will act. Again they combine with this neurocorticoid receptors inside the cells, and they will absorb the sodium from. Of course, this is tubules. Sodium, water, which is running there, they are absorbed from there. Sodium come into interstitial spaces. So now sodium and sodium and H passively water will also absorb from there, and they will come to the well into interstitial spaces, and their venous plexus are there. They will go to general circulation from there. So in this way, a condition develop which is called apparent minerocorticoid excess syndrome. So this syndrome develops because of the absence of the 11 beta hydroxysteroid, because this is a congenital disease. So once this enzyme is absent, the cortisol will not convert into cortisol, and cortisol level goes high inside these cells, and this high cortisol is responsible to absorb the sodium and water passively, and then the level of the sodium possible. So this means that this excess minerocorticoid apparent minerocorticoid excess syndrome. What I mean is that this syndrome ultimately develops because this enzyme is absent. No cortisol is converted to cortisol, and cortisol will go high, and a lot of cortisol is available. They will combine with these receptors inside them, and minerocorticoid activity is produced there. Sodium is absorbed from there. Passively water will also absorb, and that's why the name is given the apparent minerocorticoid excess syndrome, because it will act as a excess aldosterone minerocorticoid. So that's why this name is given to these patients in which the 11 beta hydroxy this enzyme is absent. There is also, you see, another person like the licorice. This is a herb. So this licorice is a herb, and once a person takes a lot of these licorice, an enzyme is also present there. An enzyme is also present in these licorice, which will convert this enzyme, which will destroy or convert this enzyme, the 11 beta hydroxy dehydrogenase type 2 enzyme को destroy करेगा. Again, the same condition develops, and the same apparent minerocorticoid excess syndrome develops in these persons. See, this is another condition in which once a person takes a lot of licorice, then these Ames syndrome develops in these people.